Hey Facebook, I'm here again with day 8 of the video challenge. So I'm sitting here in the movie room where we do our Thursday meetings, and basically coming up with the question: Are you a buyer or are you a seller? Now this question is not based on stocks. This is not a stock question. This is their everyday buying services and goods or selling services and goods. So I have that. There's a movie called Baby Boy, and in that movie, the character Tyrese kind of has this epiphany, like while he's standing in front of the grocery store, because while he's standing out there, everybody is walking up to him. They're selling him T-shirts, they're selling CDs. So he's there with his best friend, and he's like, "Man, look, are you a buyer or are you a seller?" And of course, his friend is like, "Where is this coming from? Like, what are you talking about? Are you a buyer or are you a seller?" So as he's having a conversation with his friends, more and more people are walking up to him, and they're selling things to him. So he explains to his friend, look at what you have on. Look at your clothes. How much are those shoes? How much is that jacket? How much is that shirt? He said, well, you had look at what you got on. You probably have at least 3 millionaires on. So when I first heard that, I'm like, at least 3 millionaires. But when you think about it, the people on the labels are probably millionaires, and most of us probably have at least three of those millionaires on our body at any given time. So he goes on, he's kind of like, you can see it's like a growth moment for him in the movie where he's like, I'm going to be a seller. And when I ask this question, I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer. There's not a right or wrong answer. There's not a good or bad answer. There's just the answer that's for you. So are you a buyer or are you a seller? Now, in my mind, as he says in the movie, everything moves off of buying and selling services and goods. And those people who are sellers are the wealthiest. Your Bill Gates. They're sellers. They're selling these services and these goods. And the buyers, as Tyree says in the movie, are usually just standing still and broke because they're just spending money and spending money and spending money and never recouping it from selling something. And then you get the people who say, I don't like sales. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm not the most outspoken person in the world. I'm not. I grew up very shy and quiet, and I'm really an observer more than anything. But I've always been a seller. I've always been a seller and understood that if I didn't sell something, then it would be hard for me to get ahead. So I always had something that I would promote, push, or sell. So again, are you a buyer or are you a seller? There's no right or wrong answer to this question. But I believe that buyers are going to get behind, and everybody becomes a seller at some point in their life. Imagine one of those times in your life when you were struggling and there was something that was going on and you were financially in a little bind and you look for something to sell. So my challenge to you is not to wait until you're in that bind to become a seller. Find something that you can promote or that you can sell either passively or aggressively, just to continue to have another source of income coming in. So today, that message that I'm giving to you today is it's more so thought provoking, and just for you to think about where you stand. Are you a buyer or are you a seller? A lot of people with a seller's mind, but they just don't. They just don't. They have the fear to step out there and do it. So ask yourself that question and be honest and true to yourself. Are you a buyer or are you a seller?